Hello everybody, welcome to the WILDCAT Weathering. I didn't do a real intro for this video because I don't want to waste any time, and we jump right into it. So first I used the Ammo Make shader. The color was dirt, and I just did a light shading on the landing flaps, at the wing roots, and at the lower half of the body right there in the middle. Nothing heavy, just a little bit of shading. Now in this video we will have several weathering steps. We started with the shaders, we will have some dry brushing, some chipping, panel line washes, get it on with some pigments. We use the weathering pencil, and at the end there will be some rigging taking place.
I don't know. I don't like the referee already. And we are in the 10th minute.
Okay, here I used Humbrol mask hull to mask the propeller. Now the mask hull is a nice product to apply, but it doesn't dry that hard. So you have to be careful. If you touch it, you will remove it. So you have to mask it again.
Wieso bin ich, wieso Sachen mit Musik?
Was?
Darf man
Aha.
die Antivision?
Ja, du bist halt eben drauf auf dem Video.
Und wieso hast du das so etwas drüber? So das nicht.
Ah, Untertitel habe ich dort geschrieben, ja. Weißt du, weil wir zwei Schweizerdeutsch reden und da verstehen die meisten Leute nicht.
Okay, so now we got this out of the way, it's time for some highlighting. I just use the dry brush technique to highlight all the edges and details and go over everything that stands out. So this is actually part 3 of my WILDCAT build. You should check out the first video, which is about the cockpit, painting and weathering, and the second video, which is about priming, pre-shading and painting the model. After I buffed the decals with a sanding sponge of Tamiya, now it's time to do some brush chipping. As well here, I didn't go heavy, I didn't do a heavy chipping, just a slight chipping around the wing roots, you know, the areas where the pilot would enter the aircraft. Yeah, I didn't do much chipping because I was doing the dry brush highlighting before. Then it's time for some panel line washes. I love the Ammo Make enamel panel line washes. I used blue dirt, and I didn't use it as you actually should use the panel line washes. I didn't only apply it into the panel lines, I was really applying it alongside the whole panel line because I wanted to have a bit of a stronger effect. After that, it was time to seal the work and also seal the decals with a gloss coat. For that, I used the AK Interactive 3rd generation acrylic gloss. It's time for the Ammo Make oil brushes, and I'm using different colors and apply it in the areas where I want to have a certain effect. And I really like to apply it like with different colors already. So after it has dried a bit, you can fade it with some enamel thinner, and you will have a much greater effect if you use different colors and not just only one and then do the second one over it. I think you can do it at the same time. I wanted to do a base, like some kind of a base with the Starship filth, which is not too dark, and after that I will apply some black oil brushing. So once that has dried like 30 minutes, 1 hour more or less, I used, like I said, the Amomig odorless enamel thinner. I dip a brush into the thinner and start fading it. Just make sure you don't remove everything. You have to leave enough of the oil paint on your model, because after you will apply some gloss coats or maybe a flat coat in the end, I mean, the effect will not be that strong anymore. So you have to leave it a bit stronger than you actually want. Now it's time for the black oil brusher. Here you see how I apply it. Then I let it dry like this. As I said, like 30 minutes, 60 minutes. Not too short, but not too long. I mean, don't let it dry too short, because after that, if you start fading, you will remove everything. I switched the brush here because the first brush I used is really man, I hate it. I have to actually get rid of it. And here I used a much nicer brush and it worked much better. Lucky Varnish, no thinning needed. Let's check it out. 1.2 bar or 17 psi. Now it's time for a flat coat. I used the Amomig Lucky Varnish, no thinning needed. You can apply it into your airbrush straight from the bottle. This is the finished result. With the flat coat, it's still kind of shiny a bit. I mean, this flat varnish does not dry ultra flat, and I kind of like it. Because if it dries too flat, I don't think that looks very realistic. Now it's time to do the navigation lights, and for those small details I really prefer enamel colors. I'm using gloss colors of green and red and paint those small navigation lights. They are very small on this aircraft. And after the enamel color has dried, I will apply some PVA glue over it, which will dry crystal clear. So the next step are the pigments. I'm just kind of dry brushing the pigments into the surface because it has a flat surface.
This is not a time for levity. Do you understand what happened to Machine Gun Kelly?
First I used black smoke. Then I was trying some light gray pigment because I want to have the effect of a small light gray line in the smoke effects, but it didn't really work out with the pigments. So I just moved on to the next step. The next step were the weathering pencils. Now here I used aluminum to highlight all the rivets, you know, to kind of do a chipping effect on the rivets. It's really great with this aluminum color. I can really recommend it. You can do this so fast, and I think the result is very great. Just apply it like this with the pencil, and once you're finished, go over it with a brush. I used a flat brush here. Yeah, I know the lighting is not that good. We will have a look at the finished model at the end of the video. So stay with me here. Now I used dirt white to do that effect in the smoke, and it worked much better with the weathering pencil. I just used the pencil and then I faded it with a moistened brush. Just redo the process until you have the effect that you're actually looking for. Here is the finished result. I kind of like it. I think those weathering pencils are really good to do some fine effects, which you couldn't achieve with, like, for instance, I tried to do with the pigments. So now it's time to assemble the front canopy part. I applied some AK Wolverine PVA glue. And carefully place it onto the model. After holding it in place for a while and the PVA glue has kind of dried but not completely, I removed the excess with a toothpick, because once that PVA Wolverine AK glue has dried, it dries very hard. After that, another PVA glue I used from Deluxe Materials, Glue and Glaze, and that's what I said earlier. Here I'm just painting the navigation lights with that PVA glue. It will dry crystal clear and it will have this look like a real navigation light. Humbrol clear, I was painting it over the windows down there at the lower half of the body, because they're not that crystal clear. I don't know, these clear parts are not perfectly clear. Carefully remove the masks of the canopy part. Make sure you don't scratch it with your tweezers. It looks nice already. Yeah, that's it of the weathering. The very last step of the build was the rigging. I was using the Amomeg rigging product, 0.2. Actually, it's for 1/48 scale models. But I think it works very good for 1/72 scale, because the one for 1/72 scale, you can almost not see it. Once I mean, here in the video or on the pictures, you can almost not see it. I'm using the Rocket Rapid Super Glue from Deluxe Materials. Place a little dot with a toothpick and then just steady hold it for a few seconds until it really bonds. Yeah, it takes like, I don't know, 10-20 seconds and it's bonding. So we are almost at the end of the video. This was the complete weathering job. Now after the rigging, we will have a look. I will show you the finished model. I hope you enjoyed it. I had to speed it up a bit because if the video gets too long, you will not watch it. So don't blame me for hurrying a bit, because if it's too long, nobody will watch it. Because we will spend a few minutes also with the slideshow of the finished build. I want to show you the finished build as well. I will work a bit on those dots of the super glue. They are shiny now and they also attacked the paint a bit. I just use some flat varnish and then go over it with the weathering pencil, do kind of a weathering effect, and you will hardly notice that I actually damaged the paint job a bit with the super glue, because the super glue destroys everything. You have to be very careful when you apply it. Don't apply too much, it will destroy everything. But yeah, you can fix this with a little bit of matte varnish and then just a bit, use 1 or 2 different weathering pencils. You'll be fine, mate. So now let's have a look at the slideshow of the finished build. Let's go!